This is an interesting building. Was the Greenhill Communications Centre, named after Jim Greenhill, our first managing director. Opened in 1998. Jim unfortunately passed away a number of years ago. I mean, we started Manx Telecom 30 years ago, and Jim was the first managing director. His wife Liz is still alive, living up in Ramsey, and in respect to that, we've changed the name slightly from the Greenhill Communication Centre to the Greenhill Data Centre, but we maintain that connection to Jim. And this is hosted our garage. This was a garage, which is now all of that's outsourced, all our maintenance of our vans, and our stores, our external works, our planners, which are still here, but will be relocated as the project progresses, and we're developing a site just down the road with Kirby Farms, Kirby Estates and Kirby Farm. And upstairs, and welcome any of you who have not seen it, there's actually 120 seat disaster recovery centre, business continuity centre. So it's an extensive building, and if you walk out the back of this building, you'll see how big it is. It goes right up to the school almost at the back. And we've got a plan, which Stuart will go through in some detail afterwards, to develop this into our second data centre. The first data centre, Douglas North, was opened in 2005. It's been extremely successful. It was the first dedicated data centre, purpose-built, top security, passed all the top standards. We've been looking probably for a while to develop the second centre. Now we feel the timing is right, and it's a commitment on our behalf to the government, I think to Allan and his government, that we're looking to promote e-business, e-gaming on the Isle of Man, and we believe that Allan and his government will be successful, and this is our support to that. We've also, Fergal and the team are going out to EIG in October, supporting the government stand there, but also for the first time having a stand of our own, promoting big data analytics, which is the first time we've moved into this area. So we see this great potential, and this is actually confirming to the government, to the community, that we're willing to put our money where our mouth is and invest in this. I'm not going to talk for long. I'd just like to thank the contractors that are here. We've got some key contractors, particularly I think NG Bailey are the key contractor. The MEA are also heavily involved in this. And the good news is that when this data centre is up and full, we'll be generating or using a lot of power. We've also been in talks, the MEA have asked for expressions of interest on utilisation of their fibre off-island network and on-island network. We believe, and we've done a presentation to them, that there are opportunities to link to that fibre network as well, using customers we attract into this data centre. So I'm not going to talk any longer. I'm going to pass over to Stuart now to let him just run through a presentation on what this is all about.
Thanks, Mike. First of all, probably it would be wise that I introduce myself. I've been on the island for a couple of years now, came here in October 2011 to work with Manx Telecom to run their data centres, and I'm delighted to say I'm excited about the fact that we've grown the business and we're now in a position to light the blue touch paper under another development, another data centre on the island. A £10 million investment by Manx Telecom. For me, just good news for the island. So that's going forward. I think it's worthwhile, before I get into the detail around the new data centre, is to remember that we do have an existing facility at Douglas North, an absolute world-class data centre. It was built, as Mike said, in 2005. When I came here, one of the key things that drew me to coming to work for Manx Telecom was the world-class facility that this data centre is. It hosts a lot of e-gaming customers, global banks, a lot of the SME market. It's a world-class facility. However, since that facility was built, things have moved on technically within the construction of data centres. It's a moving market. Technology will always move. The facility that you're sitting in at the moment is very, as you can imagine, it's very much work in progress. By December of this year, this will be a data hall. It will have 100 racks capability. It will be the first phase of a £10 million investment. The second phase, the infrastructure for the second phase, is going to be provisioned with the first phase in order that, and if you look onto this graphic here at the back, the data hall I'm talking about is here, that we're sitting in at the moment. At the back, there's a second data hall of another 120 rack capacity. We can light that capacity up once the first phase is finished within 3 months. This is our agility to provide space to any particular large customer and small customer who wants a dedicated data suite, dedicated rack, dedicated hall. It's that flexibility. There's a further phase 3 development which sits at the back of these two existing buildings. It would be a brand new build, and it will bring the capacity of this whole site to 500 racks, a monster of a data centre. That new facility at the back, I would suspect, and hopefully with our pipeline of new business, we'll be able to get really into the detail of that by 2015, 2016. That's the growth we're looking for. The work that we've done with NG Bailey, we went through a very rigorous engineering process to ensure that we made sure we've got the latest technologies deployed within the data center infrastructure. You can see cooling here, 2 generator pods, the data hall in the middle. This area here with the pipe work, that contains a lot of the cooling and the high voltage and low voltage transformer rooms. I won't go too much into that detail, but there's a lot of investment into this site to ensure that we have maximum resilience, maximum uptime, so that our customers have confidence in the facility, because that's what it's all about. Mitigating the risk and making sure that we are the first provider and having that confidence in us to always be uptime. You may have seen earlier, Douglas North has been running since 2005. It's 100% uptime. 100% of the time that data center has been operating, it has not been offline. Whether it be that there may have been a blip with the MEA, the infrastructure is built to ensure that we just go to generators, the UPS systems work, we test them rigorously. However, the new site, I'm really excited about the fact is that we've been able to take advantage of the balmy climate on the Isle of Man. You know, when I came here, it didn't stop raining. It was pretty windy. This summer we've been very fortunate. We've been blessed with great weather, but the studies that we carried out, obviously the temperature doesn't get much above 20 degrees very often in the year. That's enabled us to deploy within this particular facility something called adiabatic cooling. You probably think to yourself, what on earth is he talking about? It's actually using the fresh air that we have, drawing it through a curtain of water. It comes out as chilled air. It means we don't have to deploy expensive mechanical cooling all of the time. Is Phil King here? No. Well, don't worry, MEA. We're still going to be using loads of power, but this is a way of... yes, you are. But the adiabatic cooling is about the environment as well. We're trying to, yes, grow our business, but also be aware of the environmental issues and pressures that we have to deal with. I'm delighted that we're using a brownfield site to develop a new data centre. Well, I haven't gone out into I like fields, green fields, love them, great country, beautiful. Why do we want to stick a horrible data centre on it? You know, if we can do it in here, great. So that's one of the key things, the adiabatic cooling. We're deploying the latest uninterruptible power supply systems. This is all technology that's moved on, as has IT, over the last 7 or 8 years. There's been a great team of people behind it. NG Bailey, who we've worked very closely with, they've been extremely receptive to our requirements, the key one being as much on-island labour must be used on this project that we can find. They've been out, they've tendered with local contractors, and that was one of the key requirements for building this facility, using on-island capability wherever possible. There are certain skills the island doesn't have, that's fine, we understand that. But by and large, I would suspect 85% of this will be built by on-island labour. Furthermore, once this develops, we will be able to... There's a metric that's used within data centres now, some of you may not be aware of it, called PUE. It's power user efficiency. It's a global standard. The Carbon Trust devised it. And the Douglas North data centre, which was built a few years ago when technology wasn't at the level that it is now, it has a PUE of around 2. That's not particularly brilliant in today's terms. However, the requirement we also put into this data centre that the PUE had to be below 1.5. And working with NG Bailey and all of the other contractors on this particular project, we are predicting that once we've got this data centre up and running and filling it with racks, it will operate around 1.3, which is world standard for PUE efficiency. This particular graphic here has enabled us to plan this data centre before we did a thing. It's a walkthrough. It shows us the height of the doors, how we can access certain rooms, even right through to going into where you're sitting now. This will be the raised floor. These will be the racks. There's the lighting above. You'll be sitting on a raised floor. We've enabled this so that we can make sure before we did any construction, we know exactly how it's going to look, what we're going to have. Can we get the kit in? Can we get it out? What happens in the event of a failure? It's been a fantastic tool and has enabled us to move this project along much more quickly than we normally would have done with thousands of drawings and lots of poring over them. So that's been a key plus for us as well. So I think as we draw to a close, we talk about the e-gaming sector, we talk about banking. This facility is not only about those sectors, it's about us being able to go out to market with a world-class data centre and attract other verticals to the island as well. We're having a Biomed conference in December, which we're sponsoring. We're talking to several biomed providers. They talk about big data. That's another watchword that's going to get very, very used as we go forward. I think everybody's familiar with the cloud now. Well, big data's the next one. But I think just to close, as a final comment, Gartmore, who are the industry data center analysts, predict in 2013 that the global data center business will be worth $233 billion globally. They also predict that between now and 2017, that will grow by 5% per annum. They do caveat that with one particular comment. That includes no growth in the Euro region at all because of the economic woes in that area. If the Euro region sets fire, that figure will grow again, probably to 7.5% per annum. That's a huge amount of revenue that's around. This data centre will enable Manx Telecom to have the flagship data centre on the Isle of Man. It will also enable the Isle of Man as a business to be able to offer world-class hosting facilities. We can stand toe-to-toe with any competitor in the world with this data centre and compete on level terms. We're very fortunate today to have the Chief Minister here, the Honourable Allan Bell, and he's very kindly said that he would say a few words. So may I pass over to the Chief Minister?
Thank you, Stuart and Mike, for the invitation to come up here today. As Chief Minister, obviously it gives me great pleasure to see further investment in the Isle of Man economy, not just to continue the development of Manx Telecom, but also to provide wider support for the growing economy. I think it's well documented the challenges which face the Alban government at the moment, certainly from a revenue perspective, because of some of the changes which have taken place off island. That has led government to rethink its approach to how we stimulate more government revenues, and from that, how we need to stimulate the economy and the level of economic growth we need to replace those lost revenues. Currently, the Alban economy is in a very strong place. It's growing by about 4% net. That sounds very good news. It is good news, and it still puts us very much at the forefront of economic growth anywhere in Europe. But the reality from the Alban's point of view, and going back to the revenue issue, is that the Alban government needs net growth closer to 6% if we are going to start replacing the level of revenues that we've lost. Now, to focus on that, the government for the last 2 years has had 3 priorities. One, obviously, is rebalancing the budget. The second is to protect the vulnerable. But the third, and the absolute core of all our thinking at the moment, is growing the economy. Now, government can do a certain amount. We have, I think, worked very closely with the private sector now for certainly some 25 years, and I'm delighted to see Sir Miles here this morning, because we've struggled through this ourselves over the years. And it's interesting that the start of that relationship almost coincides with the start, or the position of Manx Telecom in the 1985-86, I think, when government decided to privatise it. The parallel success, I think, of the Alban economy and Manx Telecom over the last very near 30 years, I think mirrors the huge benefits which come from the close working relationship that has existed between the private and public sector now for that period. There's no doubt at all that the main reason that the Alban has not gone in recession over the last few years is that we've been able to diversify the economy during that period. Without a diverse economy, we would not be able to boast the growth that we've had. And in fact, if you look at Jersey, our main competitor in many areas, they've been in recession for the last 4 years, largely because they've had all their eggs in one basket. But much of the diversity that we've been able to achieve over the last certainly 15, 20 years stems from the confidence that Manx Telecom have had in the Alban, the development of our telecommunications infrastructure, which has been absolutely crucial in developing a wider range of interests to set up in the island. And the obvious one, of course, is the e-gaming business. Currently, that generates something like 8% of our GDP now. It employs over 800 people and provides very substantial revenues for government. None of that could have happened without the confidence that Manx Telecom have shown in the island and investing in the infrastructure. And I think that statement over there says it all, really. Over £120 million invested in the Manx economy over the last 10 years is actually quite a phenomenal figure when we look at it. It's something perhaps which goes unnoticed in many respects, because a lot of the work you do goes on quietly, either underground or behind the scenes, at least, that people aren't always aware of. But without that confidence, without that investment, there's no doubt at all we would not have been able to stimulate the e-gaming business that we have today. And it's growing well, it's very confident, and it is also now itself starting to diversify in other areas. That, again, flows from the confidence you guys have had in the Alban. I'm delighted to see that this has finally come about, this investment today. I know you've been talking about it for quite some time, and perhaps at one point there was a question as to whether, in fact, you would continue with it. So it gives me a great heart, really, to come along and see that the decision is now made, because that indicates that Manx Telecom, one of our largest companies, itself has confidence in the future of the Alban economy, and that can only be good for all of us. It's great news also to hear your commitment to ensuring as much local labour is involved in this as possible. That is one area where we do still have a problem. The construction industry in particular has been struggling quite badly over the last few years, and we need all the support and investment and help we can get to maintain the construction industry, at least at the level it is, if not to expand it a bit further. I'm also pleased to hear that Manx Telecom have been talking to the MEA. We need, as a government, to sweat every asset that we have at the moment, and we have the fibre optic cable, which it's largely unlit and has huge potential for the future. What your engagement with the MEA might be for the future remains to be seen, but it is my firm belief that we should take all steps possible now to light this cable and to attract as much new business as we possibly can. We are in a very strong position here that the investment that you guys have put in, that the government has put in, leaves the Isle of Man from a telecommunications point of view in the general sense in a very strong position, much stronger than most of our competitors. The obvious other benefit of the data centre and the extra work you're putting in is the extra demand it's going to generate for the MEA itself, and clearly we need all the help we can get on that. And indeed, I think part of the package you will find, if you do continue your discussions with the MEA still further on lighting the cable, is you have to take it as a package. You get the cable, but you also get the MEA as well, and we'd be very happy to hand it over to you. You can have the lot. We're very generous in the government. But I don't want to take up too much of your time, only to say really that government is absolutely 100% in support of what you're trying to do. We are currently, and I'm not sure if Manx Telecom have been involved in it or not, carrying out the 2020 review of the Manx economy, which is a collaboration again between government and the private sector to try and identify what the Isle of Man economy might look like in 2020, what the various needs of the various sectors might be. That has had a very good response from us. But the fundamental thread that weaves through everything that we're doing at the moment is telecommunications, and we need world-class. I know we speak about the Isle of Man having world-class this, that and the other. If we are going to compete successfully in a far more competitive world, we genuinely do need world-class investment to be able to compete. The one good thing that the development of ICT industry and telecommunications generally is that it has removed one major obstacle that the Isle of Man economy has had to economic growth. The Isle of Man, I'm pleased to say, is no longer an island in terms of the economic hurdles that have been in the way. In the past, developing the economy has always been dogged by the problem of sea access, air access to the island. Now, it doesn't matter what corner of the world you're in, business at a push of a button can come to the Isle of Man. And that has taken away a huge obstacle and leaves the Isle of Man in a very strong position now to compete and develop new business for the future. So with that, congratulations to everyone concerned. I'm absolutely delighted that the confidence that you've shown is now starting to materialise. As I say, £120 million over 10 years is something the island doesn't know about, and it's something we should be boasting about, and just to help spread that confidence further around the island that this work is taking place. I hope all goes well. I'm delighted, as I say, with the confidence you've shown. The economy is doing well at the moment, but has to do better. By partnerships such as this, I think this is the way forward. This is the only way we're going to really get the Isle of Man firing on all cylinders again and delivering what we need. And I very much hope that Manx Telecom will remain part of that overall package. So congratulations to everyone concerned, and good luck with the future. And I have to say, the election is not till 2016, I think, so my skills as an apprentice brickie might just be honed in time for you to take me on. We're trying to extend the retirement age at the moment, so I could have a whole new career as a bricklayer. So thank you very much. Thank you.